Hey guys, how's it going? It's Space Cowboy here. Welcome back to the channel with another video for you guys here today in the new house. It's been taking a bit to get everything here and the office set up, so my backdrop will change and my position on the camera will change, but it's part of that process, and so far not a good omen for the Cowboys considering I'm now 0-1 in the house now in an embarrassing fashion, no less, but we must press on. And we'll talk about the game and things of that accord. So before we do that, just quick little self-plug. If you guys could do me a favor, please hit that like button. It helps the channel out so much in the YouTube algorithm. And also comment down below how you felt about the game. Things like that. And also share this with a friend or family member if they enjoy Cowboys content and want to get more of it. Then, if you are not subscribed but keep coming back, which is 92% of you guys, that number keeps going down, which is great. But there's still a whole bunch of you that keep watching and are not subscribing, so if you like what you're seeing and keep coming back, just subscribe and hit that notification bell. It's as easy as that. And if you want to help this channel even further and support me, hit that join button and become a media member and get the perks that come with that today. Now we have to talk about what the hell was that on Sunday, because it really felt like the Green Bay playoff game last year all over again. The Cowboys unable to stop the run, giving up big chunk plays, the offense sputtering when it needs to perform, and it was just an amalgamation of bad things that resulted in a loss. And so let's talk about the stat lines and then just getting into what needs to be fixed, or if it can be fixed, because we talked about some things after the Cleveland game and even before the season began about the potential of these young players and how this team is going to be putting a lot of trust in the young players, and this was a prime example of what would happen if they don't reach that potential. So looking at the stat line, you had Derek Carr only throw the ball 16 times, complete 11 passes. He was only sacked one time, and 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. That is embarrassing. The fact that he didn't need to throw the ball so much, and they were still able to just manhandle you in the first half. Like, they only scored, I believe, 1 touchdown in the second half, so you limited them to 10 points. But when you only score 3 points in the second half, that doesn't really do much. And again, like, I saw a lot of people getting upset with the offense, and, you know, deservedly so. But, bro, when you give up 6 goddamn touchdown drives, and the one time they punt was with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter, that is not a recipe for success. But Alvin Kamara and company ran all over this defense, and then I believe Derek Carr also ran in a touchdown as well. 39 carries for 190 yards, and their longest run was only 15 yards. That's how bad they were gashing the defense. And then you look at their receiving core, 11 receptions, 243 yards, and 2 touchdowns by Rashid Shaheed when he had the 70-yard touchdown. And then you also had Alvin Kamara with, I believe it was the screen, with the 57-yard touchdown, which was bad in and of itself. Now looking at the Cowboys end of things, Dak Prescott 27 for 39, 293, and a touchdown with 2 interceptions. The first one when Jalen Brooks fell down, the second one when he was trying to force it, which was not a good look. Running the ball, 21 attempts, 68 rushing yards. The longest run you had was a Dak Prescott 8-yard scamper. The receiving game, you did have CeeDee Lamb have a 4-reception, 90-yard day with the 65-yard touchdown, which probably could have made it a game, but things just kept, like, it's just like I said during the playoff game. You can't expect a team to win when you constantly give up scoring drives. And then the only person that got a sack was Chauncey Goldstein, and that was it. And then the only dude that got a turnover was Donovan Wilson, and it didn't matter because Dak Prescott on the next play threw an interception. And then Brandon Aubrey, shout out to him. You know, he was 4 for 4 and complete as well with the extra points. And that's enough of the stats stuff. I really want to just talk about the game and get this over and done with, because I did talk about at the beginning of the season, before any games were played, that this team is going to be very dependent on young talent to come up and really perform to balance out the lack of free agent additions. In fact, there were people that were out here in these YouTube, Twitter streets that were saying, oh, the front office did nothing wrong, and, if you were clowning on the front office, you don't know what you're talking about. And the thing is that we know what the Cowboys front office approach is, which is they like to draft young talent, cheap talent, and hope that it comes through, and if it doesn't, oh well. And that's exactly what's been going on. The games against Cleveland and New Orleans are perfect dichotomies for what this season can be. It's either the young talent comes through or it doesn't. And when you have a dude like Jalen Brooks, who in my opinion shouldn't even be playing, it should be Ryan Flournoy, because he gave you more to look out for than Jalen Brooks, you can see why there's a problem. You can't fall down leading to an interception, and that leads to points the other way. And people will blame Dak Prescott for how bad he played or all this other stuff. I don't think he played horrific. He didn't play good. He played okay. But when you talk about the sequence of events that leads to what a quarterback has to do, this is exactly why trusting young guys isn't good. Because now what's going to happen is you're going to have Dak Prescott try to force it to CeeDee Lamb because he's the only dude that he trusts, and Brandon Cooks. Because I don't have anybody else outside of those two to trust. And by the way, Jake Ferguson didn't play that day, and I really wanted to talk about it, but I was moving, so I didn't have the opportunity to do a pregame video. I was going to talk about, they have an offense that is Kyle Shanahan-esque, which was going to be a huge test for this team. And they just failed astronomically. And that's where I have real big concerns for later down the road. Because you're going to have to deal with a couple more Shanahan offenses, especially him himself, in San Francisco no less. And you don't have the ability to just add more pieces. You just saw the Vikings go out there and defeat that offense. And so now comes into question, okay, is it a personnel thing or is it a scheme thing? And I'm really starting to think it could be just a scheme thing. And I'm not trying to say that to get Mike Zimmer out of here or just get rid of all the coaches, but it really feels like nothing truly has changed with this Cowboys team from last year. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the team's horrific or terrible. They're 1-1 just like I thought they were. The only difference is that they are 1-1 in the opposite manner. They beat Cleveland. They lost to New Orleans, where I had the opposite happening. So right now they're still on pace for where I thought they would be record-wise. And it is the NFL. There were a lot of upsets in week 2. So things happen. And that doesn't dismiss what happened on Sunday. Because if this team wants to get any further to win a championship, they need to be able to stop the run and run the ball. And I'm really scared that they don't have the ability to run the ball, because have we seen any of the running backs get proper separation and break tackles? I have not. Honestly, I haven't. And I really want to just see what they have in Dalvin Cook, because if they don't have any running backs that can create separation, break tackles, oh, this team is so screwed in the run game. And in fact, I wouldn't be upset with trading Trey Lance for a guy like Tyler Algier or Jalen Wright. Just someone that can give us value, that's young and has that ability to do what we need out of a running back. So I'm just looking at everything and I'm just like, I really want to enjoy this season. But at the same time, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and just be like, we're going to kick everyone's ass and, oh, we're going to steamroll this team. That's not how it's going to be. It's not. And if anyone's trying to hype up this team, this is what I have said, and I'm still going to hold it to everybody else and to myself. This team is a playoff caliber team that will only go as far as the run game and the run defense takes it. We want to talk about how Dak Prescott didn't score 5 touchdowns and throw 700 yards. Here's the thing. Even if Dak Prescott played a perfect game and scored on every single drive, that would not have been enough to win the game in the manner of which the game was going. That's how bad this was. And that's where I can't blame him fully. He's part of what happened, sure. But you have to realize, too, this is the exact line of thinking that I had during the Packers playoff game. And that is this. You can't win a game when you constantly give up scoring drives, especially when you're trying to get something going, because if you don't score a touchdown, you're basically running into a situation where you're going to lose the game. And trust me, I want this team to score touchdowns and just score at will, but sometimes the NFL isn't like that. And that's the other thing, is that New Orleans' defense was really good, and I think that they are a surprise team this year. I think that for Derek Carr, there are people saying he was a terrible quarterback. I don't think he's bad. I just think that his floor is very low and his ceiling's high. That's what I feel about Derek Carr. And this isn't just like a after show thought that, or after game thought more specifically, where we're talking about, oh, well, you're just saying that because of hindsight being 2020. No, like, I couldn't do a show, and I would have told you guys to watch out for these things. But, of course, I'm moving, so I can't. But, look, at the end of the day, this Cowboys team has things it needs to work on. And we will see how things go against the Ravens. And if the NFL is anything of an indicator, sometimes this team wins games they aren't supposed to and loses games that they should. And I did say we were going to expect those games. And I think that we got that game today. Especially if they felt like Dallas was an almost touchdown favorite against the Saints. So I want everybody to take a deep breath with me. And what we're going to do is we're going to move forward. Listen, if you felt like this team was going to go 12-5 again, they have a bunch more games to go. And on top of that, that means you're probably going to see 4 more losses. It's just the nature of business. And as I said in the end of the Cleveland video, we were 17-0 till we're not. Now we're 16-1 till we're not. And we're just going to go through the vibes of this season. And I did want to shout out my guy J-Tuck, because he did put something on Twitter that I did want to echo, because it was something that I personally believed as well. It's like, look, I'm going to watch the season for what it is. And he did say, like, there's a huge crowd of people that are upset with this game, you know, deservedly so, that are the same people that are like, oh, I'm just going to wait till the playoffs to see how they do. And to me, I'm kind of like, I'm going to enjoy the regular season because I only get to see this team 17 times in a regular season, and hope to God they make to the playoffs and a couple more games there. But not only am I going to enjoy those games as best as I can, I do have the same sentiment of, I'm going to enjoy it, but I have my reservations held out for this team. They did extend Dak Prescott, they did extend CeeDee Lamb, and people were thinking, oh, it's always going to be an extreme. And I think that's something we need to realize, is we can't look at things from two extremes. We have to look at it as a season totality, which is, you're going to lose games. It's just the nature of the business. And you have to be aware of that. And I think if you aren't, it's going to be a long season for you. I'm not saying any complaints or negative feedback isn't warranted. It definitely is, and trust me, I'm just trying to say, don't listen to people that are trying to hype up this team, and people like, oh, you know, because we keep hearing that the team needs to be humbled. Like, we saw that last year. Like, oh, they got humbled. Like, dude, how many times they need to be humbled in order for them to actually win a game or win a championship, more, no less, right? So I don't know what else to say, guys, other than, hey, I'm just very disappointed, but it's on to next week. We play the Ravens this go around, and we'll just see how things go from there. And with that, it's just about going up against an 0-2 team that doesn't want to get to 0-3. So don't be shocked if the Cowboys drop that game. And at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked. It would be funny if the Cowboys beat the crap out of the Ravens and they're 0-3. But again, we just take it in stride for what it is. So with that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And yeah, thanks so much for your patience with the move. You know, it's been a long time coming. So with that, I'll talk to you guys later.